and welcome to today's video. We will be discussing and rating Disney's The Hunchback of Notre Dame. So, The Hunchback of Notre Dame is based on the classic novel by Victor Hugo, who also wrote Les Mis. I say based, incredibly loosely based on this novel. However, this is one of the darkest Disney films that has ever been made. The plot centres around the Hunchback of Notre Dame, who's a young man called Quasimodo, who lives in the bell tower of Notre Dame. He's been put there by his guardian, Frollo, who's the villain of this piece, and all he wants to do is go outside. He eventually goes outside, is humiliated, and falls in love with the gypsy Esmeralda. He then gives her sanctuary inside the church. Frollo becomes obsessed with her, which we will go into much more detail about. Anyway, loads of stuff entails. There's a big fight. There's also a guy called Phoebus, who's the love interest for Esmeralda. Paris pretty much burns to the ground, and then everyone lives happily ever after at the end.
It's almost like a mini 2-film wobble for Disney. Like, this and Pocahontas feel like it could have been a backslide for Disney. Like, the Pocahontas was probably too serious, historic accurate, and in its own ways dark, and this is pitch black dark.
Yeah. Which you don't realise as much as a child.
The difference being is, I think, while I didn't like Pocahontas, a lot of people did, so I think the quality of the last two films just about saved them from going into another Disney descent into darkness.
This does, it does feel like a Dark Age film. And I love The Hunchback of Notre Dame. Okay, it's one of my favourite Disneys. And I love it all the more for the fact of how dark it is when I rewatched it growing up. But it definitely does feel like it could slot right in with like the Black Cauldron in terms of when it was made.
Something about Hunchback, it strikes me as something that was like kind of made for the adults a bit more, and I think this and Hercules and Pocahontas, I feel like this group of three films, they're almost like Disney trying to impress the adults more than the kids. Because I like Hunchbacks as an adult, but I don't particularly like it much as a child.
If we look at what was happening, in which other studio had just kind of come into play at this time, it was Pixar.
Yeah.
And Pixar had just produced Toy Story, which came out the same year as Pocahontas, which, again, is dark-ish with the whole Sid decapitating toys thing, and has a lot of adult jokes in it and adult themes.
Yeah, sort of, but I think like it kept on to a sense of fun. I don't think Hunchback tries with the kids. I mean, I think it's kind of got Quasimodo's quite a fun hero. He's kind of like hideous, so he's shunned, he's locked in a tower, and deep down he just wants to leave the tower and be accepted by society, which has varying degrees of success. I think he probably was accepted.
It's more successful by the end of the film.
Yeah, well, it helps when you save the day, but I think that's quite a good message. Like, even if you look but ugly, you can still be cool.
Yeah, if you too kill loads of people with lava and chuck a judge off the top of a historic monument, you too can be accepted by society.
Well, just gypsies.
Yeah, they was accepted by the gypsies. So let's talk about Frollo.
Yeah, I think Hunchback is a film we have to divvy up because I think it does certain things amazingly well and other things not so well, and Frollo is one of the things it gets spot on. Frollo is a villain for an acquired taste. He is probably a touch too dark to be one of the greats.
Yeah.
I mean, he doesn't have that sense of fun. He is evil, evil, evil.
He's not a villain that you want to meet.
Yeah, he's not going to be jumping around Disneyland Paris anytime
No.
soon.
Well, he does come out occasionally. He does like the villain dinners in Florida, but he's not, like, you've got, like, the Evil Queen and Maleficent and Cruella and Gaston and all the fun villains that in the parks, you want to meet them, you want to have your picture taken with them. Frollo is not one of them.
Because the thing with the other Disney villains, they were like pantomime villains.
They were very campy, weren't they?
They were fun and they had a flourish, and even the ones with nasty, nasty plots like cutting up puppies or putting girls into comas, like they were fun because they had flourish. But Frollo is just pitch black. He's got a dark heart. He's just nasty. Every little thing he does is horrible. I'm not saying that's a bad thing. It's a little bit why people respond to Joffrey in Game of Thrones.
Yeah.
Sometimes villainy for villainy sake works. It's just...
Well, in the film's opening, he has already done some horrible things. Before we have even got to the nice Disney title of the film, he has caused a woman to die by kicking her in the face so she falls and hits her head on the steps and dies, and then tries to drown her baby. And only doesn't drown her baby because the archdeacon appears and is like, you have just killed an innocent woman who asked for the sanctuary of the church. You are going to hell. You are going to worse hell if you then drown her baby. So you've got to look after that baby as your penance for this. And that's the only reason he doesn't drown the baby, is because he is scared of eternal damnation.
Which I'm pretty sure he gets anyway.
Oh, yeah, we'll get to that bit.
Again, one for the adults because it's very, very scary. He's got a song that isn't the catchy, loving tune of "Be Prepared"
or Cruella de Vil.
Yeah, no, it's just literally screaming about burning everything to the ground.
Well, not everything to the ground. Okay, so the song is called Hellfire, and as much as it is dark and disturbing and has a lot of themes in there that are not for children, and as a child you don't understand it, you don't comprehend what he is singing about. He is basically fallen in love with Esmeralda, and he thinks that she's a witch who has cursed him. So his entire plan is, she is going to sleep with me, or I am going to burn her alive. I am also going to burn the entire city to the ground to find her, and this is all her fault. And in the song, it's like very visually beautiful. Like, she's dancing in the fire as the fire, which is it's a nice visual. And then all of these like monks with hoods come out of the fire, and it's basically like he's getting dragged to hell in the song.
Yeah, I think that was Disney's game plan with this one. If we have like fun comic relief children's characters, but have the plot so adult that the kids won't even know what's going on, but the adults will. I think that's what they were trying to do, and I think it just makes Hunchback a very like Marmite film. Oh
yeah, he also is like obsessed with burning stuff. Like, he tries to burn a family alive.
Yeah.
Which is just, you kind of forget how bad he is. But his plot is basically to round up all the gypsies, and this family is hiding some of them, so he decides to lock them in their house and try and burn them alive.
Yeah, right, I need to stop talking about Frollo.
Yeah, fair.
What else does Disney have? Esmeralda.
I love Esmeralda.
Probably a touch too sexual, mind you. You could say the same for Jasmine, to be honest.
Esmeralda's a lot more sexual because Jasmine is 15. Jasmine is not aware of her sexuality. Esmeralda, I think, is like 17, 18. Very, very aware of her sexuality and uses it to her advantage.
Disney's very strange because they write these young characters, but they perform them as adults, so you don't quite realise how creepy it is.
She pole dances. She full-on pole dances.
What 18-year-old pole dance? Don't answer that, YouTube. Yeah, it's again. Then you've got the gargoyle sidekicks. I like them. They're not the best.
So Laverne, Hugo, and Victor. Oh, Victor Hugo.
You've just fun fact yourself.
I have.
They're alright. I have nothing against them. I think you don't remember them as sidekicks. They're more like you switch and Hunchback. Oh my god, this is terrible. Oh, I remember those gargoyles. That'll help me get through this.
So this is I read an article on BuzzFeed the other day from this blogger who was watching it for the first time as an adult.
Mm-hmm.
She's a huge Disney fan, never seen it before. And it was just like the whole scene where they sing the song, A Guy Like You, where they convince Quasimodo that he should ask out Esmeralda.
Yeah.
It's written as so much dramatic irony because the audience already knows at that point that she was falling in love with Phoebus.
Yeah.
And it's like these gargoyles are like, yeah, we'll sing a song about how she's definitely going to love you. And the audience is there like, oh, but she doesn't. And also it's kind of really heavily implied that the singing gargoyles are all in Quasimodo's head.
Yeah.
Because nobody else sees it other than the goat.
See, that's clever because, again, that's fun for the kids, deep for the adults, but that's done well because that's like just a clever little Easter egg if you go diving into the story.
I like the songs in Hunchback.
Meh. They're all right. Again, like the sidekicks are okay, but they're not the best.
Like Topsy Turvy Day is a good song with Clopen, I guess he's the Gypsy King, maybe, I don't know. And then you've got... It's just completely gone out of my head. God Help the Outcasts, which is a really good song.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, Hunchback...
It's not remembered for its music, though.
No.
Do you want to... Time for a fun fact?
Yeah, let's go with it.
So, my fun fact for this is... I got two, actually. You can have two fun facts. One is that they changed Frollo's job. So, in the book, he is a priest. And in order to avoid offending any Catholics, they decided to make him a judge because they didn't think the idea of an evil priest would fit well. Also, this was the first Disney film that every single person who worked on this project fully expected to get a PG rating for all of the reasons that we've listed above, just for the themes, for the fact that Esmeralda pole dances.
I was lucky not to get an 18.
For the fact that they literally have lava and burn the whole of Paris, and Frollo literally is seen going to hell by the end of that film. Everyone was just prepared to do it. It was that, like... They didn't... It got a U, which they were really surprised about.
What will the live action get? When the live action comes out, that's going to be
Jesus.
terrifying.
Also, the guy who voiced Hugo, the gargoyle, wouldn't let his son watch it. And he is quoted saying he's 4. I don't really need him to be like tainted by this yet. We'll wait a few more years until he can watch this.
However, he turned 30 the other day, so he was allowed to watch it for the first time.
Yeah.
Ratings. Right, Hunchback. I like bits of it. I love bits of it, actually. I love the villain. I quite like the message. I feel other bits are done okay, and I think other things just missed the mark. So for me, 6.
I'm going to give it an 8. I really like it. I really appreciate this film, and it's one that as an adult I can happily go back and rewatch, and I'll find something darker and just find more stuff to read into it with each rewatch.
That shouldn't be Disney's job, though. I think it's a Marmite film.
I love it.
Okay. Well, have a magical rest of the day.